Yeah. What's up, Blueprint family? Thank you all for joining us tonight again for another exciting topic. Tonight is a wife's purpose. So we're going to talk about this live show. What is the purpose of a wife, and what does that mean
Yeah.
today?
Right. This this is really a great topic for anyone interested in learning more about the purpose of being a wife. This is male or female, believe it or not, because a husband needs to know what the purpose of a wife is, right along with a wife, a woman. So, whether you're married or not, I think you will be provided lots of information for you to benefit from tonight. But in particular, I'm super excited because this offers us a little bit into why we created Wifeconomics and the 7-week course and implementation program that we have. So, this is going to be really cool to dig a little bit in on too, because that's all that we're really focused on, creating more wives. So, this kind of gives a reasoning to why be a wife, right? What's the whole reasoning for doing that?
Yep, and we hope to provide greater understanding and awareness of this role for the sake of staying on topic. We are talking about the purpose of a wife tonight, of course. So we will get into a husband's purpose tomorrow
Mm-hmm.
and provide insight on what that means as well. So
Right.
stay tuned.
Yeah. So, despite the popular narrative, we genuinely believe that the role of a wife is very important. In fact, it's not something that I just believe, it's something that I know. In particular, this is a natural role, especially when you come into uniting with a man and working in cooperation to accomplish a mutual vision. That is really what it's all about, to sum it up as quickly as possible, But in general, at wifeconomics.com, we really focus on how a divine wife operates with God's purpose of love and marriage in mind, so that then she can really serve as a building block for healthy families, healthy communities, and eventually a whole country, with enough great wives, an army of wives, like there once was.
And wives on their purpose provides love, support, and stability. They help to raise the next generation and make the world a better place overall. So it's important to note that being a wife is a mature role.
Mhm.
Maturity brings a certain level of wisdom and perspective to a marriage.
Yeah.
A mature wife is able to see the bigger picture and understand that their marriage is more important than any individual disagreement or problem.
Yeah.
So, this level of maturity and wisdom empowers the wife to work through tough times together and come out together on the other side.
Yeah, it's a serious role. And so you got to be mature. We always
You have
talk
to be
about that.
committed,
Hmm.
committed
First, before you're even
un-
legally married or any of
until
that.
the end of
Yeah.
time. So, being a wife is also not a selfish role. So, in
No.
fact, it can be one of the most selfless roles that a person can play.
Yes, that means definitely can't be selfish.
Right. So wives are often responsible for taking care of their husbands, children, and home.
Yeah.
So they may also work outside the home,
Hmm.
volunteer in the community, and care for elderly relatives.
Yeah, because it's big in general for a wife to be willing to be of service to her family, to the community, to someone else other than herself. Genuinely, it is a role that I honestly believe can't be done by someone who hasn't taken the time, one, to heal if they did not receive that unconditional love themselves. So, what do I mean from that? You can't serve or give from an empty cup. So, if you've never personally received that unconditional love, it can honestly be quite hard for you to offer such a role or purpose to anyone, you
Right.
know? And that's something that, in general, I do want to make mention of because we talk for a whole week on wifeconomics.com in particular on how to heal from any traumas or negative associations that a woman may have, so that when she's entering into a marriage and entering into the mindset of a wife, she is completely, healed on a mental, spiritual level, and she's able to create a general sense of happiness within herself first, so that then she's able to offer that within a marriage. Because, I mean, if anybody is unhealed from trauma, they would certainly bring unhappiness and dysfunction,
Undue
wherever they
hardship.
go. Yeah, wherever they go. Yeah, for sure.
So when a woman is struggling to heal with trauma or
Yeah.
from trauma, it can be difficult for her to be fully present and engaged in the relationship.
Yeah, that's why we say it's very serious, because you have to, one, be mature and understanding if this is something you need to do. It doesn't count you out at all. In fact, I come from what maybe a very, very dysfunctional background, but that made me more deliberate and wanting to learn, one, how to heal that trauma, and then two, how to be a wife, what that meant, right? So it should offer you something to strive towards, certainly if you come from something that, didn't offer that. So it's not a end all be all, but it's very important that you heal from your traumas.
And if a woman has been traumatized in the past, she may have difficulty trusting men in general, including her husband. So this can
Yeah.
lead to problems in the marriage, such as jealousy, possessiveness, and insecurity.
Yeah. It can also make it difficult to communicate
Of
effectively.
course.
Yeah. Especially if she may have a difficulty expressing your needs or your feelings, or if you become withdrawn or avoidant. All of these things are very important in order for you to be able to fully function and fulfill your purpose as a wife. You are also more likely to be irritable if you haven't, taken the time to find that peace within yourself. You may lash out at your husband. Either way, it's just going to create a cycle of misunderstanding and conflict and maybe even resentment in a marriage that could otherwise be beautiful if you had taken that time to heal and then step onto your, purpose.
Right. And trauma can also impact a woman's ability to be affectionate and intimate as well. So with
Yeah.
her, of course, with her husband. So she may have difficulty feeling safe and comfortable in her own body, or may have negative associations with sex. So
Yeah.
this can make it difficult for the couple to build a strong and physical relationship and emotional connection. That's the reason why it's important to work through your traumas first before you get into any relationship, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. Yeah. And lastly, the last thing we're going to say about this before we move on, but is very important, it could make it very difficult for you to support your husband, to be supportive, because then you may be preoccupied in your own healing, right? You're more like, hey, your mind's like, hey, I need to heal. I need to focus on me. So, like you said, before you even get into a relationship, take that time for yourself. You owe it to yourself, if anything, in order for you to then move on to your next purpose of being a wife. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where you may be triggered by certain things, or, you know, just overall making it difficult for you to be the kind of wife that your husband genuinely deserves and needs in order for him to be on his purpose.
Mhm. And you can see a wife has a big purpose that involves giving a lot of love.
Yeah.
So a wife on her purpose loves her husband unconditionally, unconditionally.
Yeah.
So this means loving him even when it's difficult to love him through the
Yeah.
hard times, bad times, and even when he makes mistakes.
Yeah, that's serious. That's, and again, really hard to do if you had never had that for yourself, because you have to love unconditionally. That's what you were talking about, the commitment. Like, every day isn't going to be peaches and cream. Your husband is a human. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to, things are going to happen. Life is going to happen. You got to be willing to love unconditionally, to not have put up conditions in place in order for you to serve your role and your purpose as a wife. This really has to be something you're committed to beforehand. And that's why we created wifeconomics.com generally as a great resource for women to learn what this means and to actually understand it, so that they know what they're getting themselves into, not just getting into something, blindly and like, oh, I didn't know this was all of this.
Making an
Yeah.
instead of making an emotional decision.
Yeah.
We know this as marriage is a business, so you have to
Yeah.
want to participate in it and know your role in what marriage looks like as well. You know,
Yeah.
to trigger those people out there, submissiveness. Understand submissiveness, or what we say, the R word, receptiveness.
Yeah.
Being receptive to the relationship and to your husband.
Yeah. That's femininity at its core. It's a receptive type thing, especially
Right.
when it comes to your husband being the giver, the action. You should be the one to receiving that, and where all that comes from.
And a wife on her purpose respects her husband
Yeah.
as the head of household. So she operates from a space or place of valuing her husband's leadership and supporting his decisions.
Yes, that's purpose. That is a big purpose, and you got to be willing to do that. That will also allow you to support your husband in all of his endeavors, all of his decisions that he makes and all of the things that he does in life. So, this definitely means encouraging him to pursue his goals, his dreams, and even helping him to achieve his purpose and fulfill his potential. Now, this may be a little triggering here, but yes, it is super important that you are able to offer what often gets thrown around, that help meet quality. That is, of course, the purpose, one of the big purposes of being a wife. You should be a helpmate to your husband and even just your man in general. How can you do that? Why would I even do that? A lot of women often try to say.
Hmm.
But believe it or not, this is how you show your boyfriend that you are serious about him, you're serious about the relationship, and you are committed to him. You are also certainly making a huge investment into your future marriage by offering this help to your man before you're even married. There's nothing wrong with that. That is a pure example of exuding your purpose and role as a wife in
Right.
general.
And so all those women or men out there who say that, a woman shouldn't exhibit wife qualities before she's married is totally false.
Yeah.
Because what we understand and what we teach here is the fact that um, beginning relationships, those boyfriend and girlfriend relationships are auditions for marriage.
Yeah.
How are you going to be picked for marriage if you do not audition well? If you don't
Yeah.
interview well, how are you going to get the job?
Hmm.
How does that make any sense?
Yeah.
So you have to understand too that in this relationship, the man and the woman in the beginning of a boyfriend and girlfriend relationship are auditioning for marriage.
Yeah. And
You
be
don't
okay with that.
right. And exactly. And be okay with that. Give put your best foot forward, date
Yeah.
with the intention on being married, and everything else will fall together.
Yeah, especially I want to make note that for women in particular, when you're talking about the role of a wife, right? This is something that God truly does bless a woman when she is able to step into this role, especially as an audition, like before she's actually married. Because what it does is it puts out the universal energy that, hey, I am in alignment to what I want to be, to who I want to be, and I'm able to show forth of this now. It shows God your commitment to what you're trying to do ahead of time. And even if it doesn't work out, that's what can be scary. I get that. I've had it happen to me where it didn't work out. I was doing full on wife things to a man who didn't end up being my husband. But you know what I did come to find, which was a beautiful thing of understanding my commitment to God and wanting to be a wife, is that right after, because I showed my best, even if it didn't work out, right after God sent my husband. And everything else fell into place because I was able to hold on to that purpose of knowing what I was doing and willingly choosing to do this and being strong and knowing that, hey, I know God, one, is going to give me favor and protect me over that. And that's true. That is something that really happens, especially when you take the time to learn all you can, discernment on men, coming to understanding men, and then actually putting into practice those things so that you can make great choices on who you allow to court you and stuff. So
Hmm.
it really will work out. So be sure to let go of fear. That can be a big thing when entering into a relationship, but it is a requirement because fear and love are just not on the same frequency. It's not the same vibration energetically, and you will not align with love while holding on to fear. So please be okay with being a little vulnerable and letting go of that fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only way it will work.
Yeah. I do want to drop just a little bit for how a woman can be a helpmate to even her boyfriend before she's married, because one of the videos that we did kind of got a lot of people talking like, oh, I wouldn't do this,
Right.
giving money and stuff like that. So here are some ways that you can even be a helpmate without giving money, huh? So maybe even help this man of yours, study for exams or prepare for those job interviews, help him fill out resumes, help him with schoolwork. That's certainly a great way of showing how you can be a helpmate.
Yep. And offer help to him with tasks and projects.
Yeah.
So and be there for him when he needs a helping hand, of course.
Yeah. And
But
certainly be there during difficult times. Go ahead.
mhm,
Please say.
it's of service. So you're being of service to somebody, and relationships take that. So you
Yeah.
have to both be of service to each other and look for those opportunities, not approach them like you're chewing glass. So that's another thing too, as well.
Yeah.
You have to look for those opportunities and be there and support.
Hmm. Yeah. To willingly want to do things.
Exactly.
And especially show up when it's hard. Those difficult times, say your boyfriend may lose a job or he may, lose a loved one. All of that are traumatizing things to go through. But if you can show to be a great support system to your boyfriend, even in that time, you can show him that you're willing to step up. Or even, hey, there was a video going around about the young girl, and not just saying this may not have been her boyfriend, but the boyfriend couldn't pay for the date, or the guy she was dating couldn't pay for the date.
Mhm.
Not saying that you have to, all of a sudden just pay for a date, but certainly be mindful of like, hey, this is quite an expensive place we're at. I'm not going to order, something too expensive and put you maybe in the predicament of having to wash
Take a
dishes.
second mortgage.
Yeah, great.
something.
Yeah, but that even is a great way of how you can be mindful and be there for him and supportive. Not so much selfish, that's okay too.
Right. And encourage him to pursue his hobbies and interests
Yeah.
as well. You can also respect his opinions and decisions, even if you don't always agree with them.
Yeah.
You can agree to disagree. That's okay.
Yeah, it's all about creating that non-judgmental space. Learn how to do this early, because that's going to help you more on your purpose as a wife of creating that safe and loving, supportive environment for your family and your husband,
Mhm.
certainly.
And tell him how much you love and appreciate him.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, be open with those words of affirmation and encouragement. So those are some simple ways that you can go about being a helpmate to your man, even before you're married. And I encourage doing these things. So, yeah.
A wife on her purpose is like the subconscious mind.
Oh, what do we mean by that?
So it involves being behind the scenes, but having a powerful influence on her husband's life.
Yeah.
So just as the subconscious mind works behind the scenes to influence our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, the wife works behind the scenes to influence her husband's spiritual life.
That is huge, especially when it comes to the aspect of speaking life into each other, right? Being the powerful influence in each other's life when one is down, not beating each other down, or, just not being mean to each other, unkind to each other, but instead being like the subconscious mind in a way that you can influence your husband in a positive manner. Certainly, a big purpose to have.
Right. And a wife on her purpose is intuitive and knows how to reach her husband's heart.
Yeah.
So just as a subconscious mind is intuitive and knows how to reach her husband's heart, wife is intuitive and knows how to reach her husband's heart. So
yeah
knows how to inspire and help her husband.
Yeah, knows how to love him in the way he needs to be loved. Because when you think of the subconscious mind, it's what's deep inside. It's often the hidden part, the things that control a person's thoughts and behaviors unconsciously. So with this, you want to be able to tug on your husband's heartstrings in a positive way, giving him love the way he likes it, offering all types of the love languages. We talked about that before, the love languages thing. You need to do all of them, to be honest. And then that will really go down deep and connect with him on a real spiritual level.
Yep. And just as the subconscious mind is patient and persistent in helping to make the change, the wife is patient and persistent in helping her husband to grow as well.
Yes. Yeah. That's huge. You have to be forgiving. You have to be patient, and not so much, like you said, the subconscious mind offers the change, right? Especially if you're trying to subliminally get yourself to do different things.
Right.
But in particular, a wife shouldn't so much look to change her husband, but through the act of loving him, encouraging him, speaking life into him, you can encourage and help him to grow. And then that persistent behavior will assist with any change that may need to take place.
Right. because this information increases the probability of a woman getting married.
Yeah.
So understand that. And you hear this in social media and about women and modern women talking about how they want to wait at the finish line for a man.
Yeah.
This is how you grow with a man. You
Yeah.
inspire a man. You help a man. You're the help meet or help mate for that man.
Yeah. And maybe even stand out.
Right. So they understand that your probability of finding a man at the finish line is lower than actually trying to help this man and grow with this man. Your success rate is actually much higher than standing at a finish line, because there's other women standing at that finish line too, and there's only one winner of that race. Let that sink in.
Yeah. And like we were saying, the whole purpose behind a wife and a woman is to be of service and help to her family, her husband, and her community. So that is a huge thing. But first off, to the husband, offer that help to him, allow him to grow. But lastly, when a wife is on their purpose, they are the hugest blessings to their family and to the world, like I was saying. But in particular, this is really important because it helps to raise the next generation of adults who are kind, compassionate, and responsible. That's what a lot of our community is missing now. That family, that unit that actually offers love in the masculine and in the feminine, that creates that supportive environment.
Right.
So when a woman chooses to be on her purpose, she intentionally shows children what it means to love and respect others through her own words and her own actions. It is always common knowledge that the woman should be the first teacher to the children. So what are you teaching to your children? I commend single mothers who have to raise, their children on their own. That is such a hard job. But if we can encourage more wives to offer this example that then children can learn from by seeing, it will certainly create more kind, compassionate, and understanding individuals, because you get the opportunity to witness what's going on. I always think about our children. The simple action of when you're crossing the street at the grocery store and you wave to say thank you for the car stopping. Little things like that is a small example, something that quickly popped in my head, but our children picked up on me doing that. And now they gladly, whenever we're crossing the street, hey, they're waving, they speak, they show respect, they're considerate, they're kind, they're understanding, they're confident within themselves because they see the example of what that's like.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Really big.
And wives create a home where everyone, including the children, feel loved, supported, and accepted. They provide their children with a safe place to grow and learn.
Yeah. Children need this.
Right.
It's really big.
Mm-hmm. And wives who are on their purpose instill their children with strong values, teach their children about the importance of hard work, honesty, and integrity.
Yeah.
They also teach their children about the importance of faith and spirituality as well.
Yeah. The reason why we kind of threw in this in particular, because even if to me, marriage is really important when it comes to the family unit. So I always encourage married couples to have children, whether that's adopting or having your own. But please, choosing to create an environment for children to grow up in is really big for our next generation. And in particular, women who aren't burdened with having to play both roles of the father and the mother are able to offer that softer energy that can provide the opportunity to even want to do these things, offer these skills and qualities to your children. Often, if you're burdened with having to do both roles, it can be really hard to even have the energy to giving a little love and attention to your children. So this is really big, while we encourage women to be married before you have children, so that then our children and our next generation are certainly better off.
Well, wives encourage the children to pursue their dreams.
Yeah.
So wives who are on their purpose support their children in their endeavors and encourage them to pursue their dreams. They believe in their children and they help them to reach their full potential. Our community needs more of this.
Yeah, really. In particular, again, kind of leaning right onto what we were saying, it's not uncommon for us to see single mothers wanting to possibly use their children as a crutch for retirement or taking care of them in old age. That's certainly not healthy for your children. So it's really important that you set yourself up as a wife who is in a healthy, stable marriage and happy within herself so that then she can give energy to the next generation.
And there are many rewards that comes from being a wife on her purpose.
Yeah.
So both physical and spiritual. So
Yeah.
studies have shown that married people are healthier than unmarried people.
Yeah.
So this is more likely due to a number of factors, including having a partner to support them and encourage them, having a more stable home environment, and being more likely to have health insurance.
Yeah. Now, certainly, disclaimer, we're talking about healthy marriages here. We always have to throw that disclaimer in here because it's important that the husband and the wife is on their purpose. Again, like we said, solely for this video, we're talking about a wife's purpose. But tomorrow, we'll get into a husband because it's certainly a mutual beneficial environment that's created.
Right. So married people also tend to live longer
Yeah.
than unmarried people. So this is likely due to the same factors that contribute to improved health.
Yeah. Yeah.
And married people often have more financial security than unmarried people. So this is because they can pool their resources and share expenses together
Yeah, that's
as
big,
well.
especially in this time. And not to mention retirement. They're often in a better position when it comes to retirement.
Right.
We all got to think farther ahead. We're better off together, men and women. We really, really are. And that's really what we push here and try to encourage here. And certainly Monday through Friday offer some support and advice on doing this in this age where it's kind of hard. So we totally get that.
Right. And married people often have lower stress levels as well than single people. So this is likely due to the fact that they have someone to share their burdens with and to provide support during difficult times
Yeah.
as well. A lot of stress relief.
Yeah.
So when a wife is on her purpose, she feels a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction. She knows that she's a is making a difference in the world and that her life has a meaning.
Yeah, yeah. For all the wives that are out here and living on their purpose, living on purpose, I should really say, you truly know that you are being an instrumental part in the whole community. And importantly, your own life, creating a fulfilling and loving relationship with your husband. So, wives on their purpose certainly feel a deep sense of joy and peace that, you know, they are loved by God simply by stepping into their first natural role. And you should know that you are a part of the plan. And like I said earlier, you will be protected, you will be favored, especially when a man and a woman comes together. If you all knew the blessings that God just bestows upon your life when you choose to live on purpose and choose to step into such a mature and serious role like being a husband and wife, you will certainly be blessed. Certainly.
Yeah. Um,
Uh, Let me see. Oh,
so
yeah, go ahead.
so life is so fulfilling when a woman embraces her first natural role. You can still do all the things you want to do in life, but even better, you'll have someone to enjoy it with
Yeah.
until the end.
Yeah, I always think it was something I heard today that kind of had me like, wow, I would love to do a topic on it. I had, go hearing something throughout the day. It's kind of hard to think about a way to bring forth a topic. But in particular, it was a young woman who was saying how, she really wanted to be a wife and she really, that was what she wanted to do. But when she pitched the idea to her friends or to her family, they often said, oh, girl, you ain't got no dreams. You ain't got nothing that you working for. That's all you want to do. It thinks of a wife from such a limited perception. When truth be told, when a woman steps into being a wife and she checks that box off, she's able to focus on her family and then she can go after all the things that she wants to do alongside her role as a wife. It's kind of like being able to fit the hobbies or the job or the career or the passions into your life that you've already created and not so much try to figure out how to fit in a family or a man into a life based off of your dreams that you may have already
Mhm.
created. That's often harder to do. Certainly, if you stepped into a more demanding role, like a job that has you working long hours, and then when you get home at night, you're thinking, wow, I don't even have the time to date. You're trying to figure out how you can then get a man and stuff. That's a harder way of
Right.
going about getting the
Your-
things you want in
Your
life.
job becomes your man.
Yeah, you're working out of natural order.
Right.
And of course, anytime you're going against, the natural flow of things,
It's
it's
hard.
harder. It really, really
Bottom
is.
line is hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes downright difficult, impossible.
Yeah, it really, really is. So when a wife is on her purpose, her relationship with God, nighttime, her relationship with God should certainly grow, and you should certainly experience His love and His grace in such a new way that you might not have been able to see or experience, had you not gotten married. And in particular, it should make you more motivated to serve, especially if you go on to having children, and your children are going to be here when you're left, when you're gone. So you certainly want to create a better life for them and create a better world for them to live in, certainly just by being you as a woman.
Yeah. So we encourage women to join us at wifeconomics.com
Yeah,
as we embrace,
as women embrace being a feminine asset to a
there
man
we go.
in particular, because that's really all what it's about. It's, again, a big role to fill, and it's very serious. So we tried our best to fit it into 7 weeks. Lots of work that goes into those 7 weeks. It's not at all a easy course, but it's certainly worth it if you're committed to learning what it means to be a wife. And certainly with the implementation program, we are excited to be of service to hopefully helping to arrange some marriages with some righteous men and some divine women and wives ready to actually be a beautiful thing to see. And I'm excited to see the unfoldment of wifeconomics.com. So certainly if you're interested in more and learning more about being a wife and all that it goes into, the qualities, the mindsets, habits, when we say implementation program, we really work on things that you do every single day to implement being a wife into your life now, even if you're not, married. So that's certainly an important thing to do. And I think, honestly, it's one of the most rewarding things you will ever do. So please join us, wifeconomics.com. And thank y'all for joining us tonight.
Yep.
We kind of went through, I didn't even look at the questions. Hold on. Wow, Full House on Instagram. Thank you all for joining us. Let us check onto YouTube
And Facebook.
Thank you all for joining us.
Yep. So if no one has any questions, anyone have any questions?
Yeah, this is an easy way to kick off a Monday night
Yep.
into the world of relationships.
Yep.
Let me see. No questions? Nope.
Yep. So tomorrow night we're going to do a husband's purpose.
Yeah.
To go along with this as well. So we talked to both men and women dealing with relationships and family.
Yeah.
So join us tomorrow night, same time, same place. Blueprint family. Thank you all for joining us.
Yeah,
you all have a wonderful night.
I do want to say this is your way of, like, your side of the course in a way, because you don't have a course per se, but by being a husband and husband-minded and being an example,
Right.
It offers that, because everybody, that's a common thing we get. Where's the husband's course? Well, Monday through Friday, you tune on in. I think our followers is I want to say 60% men right now. So certainly men learning just right along with the women. Yep. And that's a beautiful thing. Yep. So thank you all.
Yep. So thank you all for joining us tonight, and we will see you all same time, same place tomorrow. Good night, y'all. Peace.